How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. It's enough Gimel, hopefully, of Masechta AvodahZarah. Okay, what did we get up to? Wow, when did I record? I don't even know what's what. Today's Friday. I think I recorded this one Wednesday morning. I'm like, it feels like it's been ages. I can barely remember where I got to. It's the day of the, it's been a wild day. Hopefully the Rebbeinu Shalom will keep on taking care of the Yidden. Hashem ish milchama, Hashem shmoi. Okay. Anyways, so we're here on, so up to Daf Gimel. What am I even getting up to over here? I don't even know. Was it there? Yeah, probably there. Okay, great. It's going to be another great Daf here. Masechta AvodahZarah. Here we go. We're going to start on Daf Beis. So we're talking about the Osad Lavoi, the Umis Ha'olam are going to try to finagle and figure out how they can be part of good stuff, right? Because the Rebbeinu Shalom says, right? It says the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to take his Sefer Torah and he's going to put it in his bosom, and he's going to say, whoever was Oisek B'Torah, what does he say? He says, Lemisha Osak Bo Yova Vital Schar. Whoever was Oisek B'Torah should come and chaparan the schar. So all the Umas Ha'olam are gonna line up to try to get their reward. Anyways, so the latest thing was they were trying to say, the reason why we didn't accept the Torah was because you didn't do Kof Aleim Harkegigis. I feel like the lighting over here, it's a little dark, but this is what we got to work with over here. Yeah, Baruch Hashem. The Rebbeinu Shalom, Hashem or Li. Let's go weiter. So in Oira El Torah, La'yud Moisa Oira. So anyways, so the Rebbeinu Shalom says, yeah, but what about the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach? How you doing with those? There's taka a light over here, but it doesn't seem to work. I'll go upon him. Yeah, maybe we'll have to find a different place. For now, it's alright. Alright, so now, Uminolan Delo Kimum, right? So the Rebbeinu Shalom says, well, how you doing with the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach? You say you want the Gans Torah. Well, how you doing already? Let's start with the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach. So, Uminolan Delo Kimum, how do we know that they were not Mekayim the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach? The Tani of Yosef taught, what's going on here? Do I have to clean my glasses? I feel like I'm stopping every 2 words. 1 second. Hopefully this is better. So, Menayin Delo Kimum, how do we know that they were not Mekayim the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach? This Tani of Yosef taught, Omad Vayimedid Eretz, Ra Vayater Goy. The Rebbeinu Shalom stood and he measured the land and he was matir the nations. My Ra, what did he see? Ra Zayin Mitzvah Shekiblu Aleim B'nai Noach V'lo Kiyemu. He saw that there's the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, and they were the Umas Ha'olam, they were not Mekayim the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach. Came Shelo Kiyemu Amad V'Tirin Loin. And then it says in the Pasuk, Vayater Goyim. Ra Vayater Goyim. So he saw that they weren't being Mekayim the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, so he was matir them. He says, all right, if you're not being Mekayim, then forget about it. You don't need to do them then. Isgurei Isgur Imken Matzinu Chote Niska. I don't understand, how could it be that the Rebbeinu Shalom saw that he told the Umas Ha'olam you have to do the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach? They weren't doing it, so he just said, forget about it. What is that? Is that the lesson over here, that we reward non-compliance? Right? We see that a sinner, Taka, gets rewarded. You're not Mekayim the mitzvahs. All right, you don't have to be. So Omer Ma'abei Derevine Zogt Ma'abei Derevine Lo Mar Sha'af Al Pisha Mekayim Osan Ein Mekablin Ole and Socher. No, actually, it's worse. They still have to do them, but even if they do them, they don't get reward for doing them. That's their punishment. V'lo, but is that really true? That if they do the mitzvahs, they don't get reward? V'otani, we learn in a braise. Rav Meir would say, we saw this in Masechta Sanhedrin, although apparently Bava Kama as well. I don't remember it from there. But Rav Meir would say, "Minayin shafilu oved kechavim va'isek b'teira shu kekohen gadol." How do we know that an oved kechavim who studies the Holy Torah is like the high priest? Sounds like he must be getting. I imagine that means he gets reward. Keilu, he's like the high priest. Tamloma, the pasuk therefore says, "Asher yaise oisem ha'odom v'chai boim," that an Odom does the mitzvahs and he will live with them. Doesn't say priests, Levites, and Israelites. Does not say that. Eloha Odom, any human being. So if you have an Oived Kechavim who's Oisek B'Torah, he can mamish be like the high priest. But, however, what does it mean? Rav Ayater Goyim. It means shein mekablan aleim socher kimitzuve v'oise. But they don't get reward like somebody who is commanded and does. Rather, like somebody who is not commanded to do a mitzvah but does it anyways. To Amr Reb Chanina, it says Reb Chanina, Gadol ha-mitzuvah v'oise, yosim she'enu mitzuvah v'oise. That it is greater. Right? It is greater when somebody is commanded to do a mitzvah and they do the mitzvah. More so when they are not commanded to do the mitzvah but do it anyways. Right? Gadol ha-mitzuvah v'oise. So we're saying that the nations, that the Umas Ha'olam, if they do the mitzvahs, they will get reward, sure, but not like a mitzvah v'oise, rather like an einu mitzvah v'oise. Elakach oimer ma'ovdei kechavim fnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So rather, this is what the Umas Ha'olam say to, right? This is what the Ovdei Kechavim say to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Meaning, right? So where are we at? Right? They said, well, we didn't accept the Torah because you weren't kaf aleim har kegigis. Right? So he says, yeah, but what about the Shev Mitzvahs B'nai Noach? You didn't do those either. So they say, well, look. Rebbeinu Shalom. Yisrael shekablu eichan keimu. Well, then they try a different angle. They say, well, okay, fine. So the Yidden were makabel the Torah. But were they mekayim the Torah? Amalei HaKadosh Baruch Hu ani meid boim. Says the Rebbeinu Shalom, I could be meid zan shekimu es HaTorah kula. That they were mekayim the gans Torah. In the fun of Rebbeinu Shalom, but the Umas Ovdei Kechavim, they say to the Rebbeinu Shalom, Rebbeinu Shalom, klum yeshav shemeid al b'noi, you're karv. Karv is postulatus. You can't be made about the Yidden that they were mekayim gans Torah. You're their father. A father can't testify against his son. They said, Bini b'chayri Yisrael, that Israel is my firstborn son. So, Amalei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shemayim v'aretz, ya'idu boim, shekimu es kol HaTorah. So the Rebbeinu Shalom says, okay, fine. If I can't testify I'm a karv, so then what about the heaven and the earth? The heaven and the earth will testify that the Yidden were mekayim the Torah. Shekimu, right? So Shemayim v'aretz ya'idu boim, shekimu es HaTorah kula. L'fan of Rebbeinu Shalom, but still the Ovdei Kechavim are stark negotiators. They say, no, that won't work either. Shemayim v'aretz noigin be'edusan. Shemayim v'aretz are nogeya be'edus. The heavens and the earth are nogeya be'edus. They have a vested interest here. How so? Shneimar, the Pasuk says, brisa yom v'layla, if not for the Holy Torah, v'agisa bo yom v'layla. If not for the Holy Torah, chukis shemayim v'aretz lo samti. Then there goes the ways of the heaven and earth. So, Keilu, they have a vested interest in testifying that the Yidden were mekayim the Torah, because if not, then chukos shemayim v'aretz lo samti. Then they're in trouble. V'amr Reb Shimon ben Lakish, V'amr Reb Shimon ben Lakish. What does the pasuk mean? Vayi'er vayivoka yom ha'shishi. What does it mean? It was evening and it was morning, the sixth day. What is the sixth day? The sixth day of Sivan, Shavuos, the day that the Yidden were mekayim Torah. Excuse me. Sorry, Mom. Hashishi is the 6th of Sivan. Melamed shehisna HaKadosh Baruch Hu ma'aseh bereishis. The Rebbeinu Shalom made a t'nai with Maisa Breishis. V'omar, and the Rebbeinu Shalom said, Imisom Mekablanas Terosi Mutov. Look, Maisa Breishis, listen up. If on the 6th day of Sivan, in the future, the Yidden will be Mekabel the Torah, Givaldi. Vimlav, but if they won't, Ani Achzir Eschem the Soyer Vavoyu. Well, that's it. You're going back to Torah Vavoyu. You're going back to Torah Vavoyu. That the Rebbeinu Shalom says to Maisa Breishis that your continued existence is dependent on the Yidden, is contingent on the Yidden being Mekabel the Torah. V'Omer Chizkiah, and says Chizkiah, what does the pasuk mean? Mishamayim mishmaita din, eretz yar v'shakata. That from the heavens you made heard a judgment, and the land feared and was quiet. Im yar lama shakata. Well, if it feared, why was it quiet? Im shakata lama yar, and if it was quiet, why did it fear? El betchila yara. Initially, they were scared. What was going to happen? Were the Yidden going to accept the Torah or not? Shakata, but in the end, they took a sigh of relief when the Yidden accept they exhaled a sigh of relief when the Yidden accepted the Torah. Excuse me, 1 second. Armeloim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so the Rebbeinu Shalom says, you know what? Ovdei Kochavim Yavayu Ve'idu Boyen Mikem Yavayu Ve'idu Boyen B'Yisrael Shekim Torah. You know what? You yourselves will come and testify that the Yidden were Mekayim the Torah. Where am I? Yavai Nimrod will come, V'yoid B'Avram, and will testify about Abraham, Shalil Avad Avodas Kochavim, that Abraham did not worship Getchkis. He'll tell the story of when he himself threw Avram into a fiery furnace in Ur Kasdim. Yavei Lovin. What's Lovin in English? Laban? Why not? We'll call him Laban. V'yoid B'Yankiv, and he'll testify about Yaakov Avinu Shali Nechshad Al Gezel, that Yaakov Avinu didn't steal anything. Tova Eshes Potifera, V'soid B'Yosef Shali Nechshad Al Avera, and the wife of Potifera will come and testify about Joseph, that he did not that he did not allow himself to be lured by her. Nebuchadnezzar v'yoid b'Chananim Mishal v'Azariah. Nebuchadnezzar will come and testify b'Chananim Mishal v'Azariah shelo hishtachvu l'tzelim, and he'll testify that Chananim Mishal and Azariah refused to bow down to the tzelim. Yovedayovish v'yoid b'Daniel shelo bitel as atfilah. And Daryovish will testify about Daniel that he was not mevatel tefillah even when it was made not allowed to do. Yovei belder ashuchi v'tzufa and aimos v'elifaz teimoni. And Job's friends are going to come via Yidu Boim b'Yisrael shekimus kol Torah kula, and also testify about the Yidden that they were Mekayim Gans Torah shnemer yitnu eideyim v'yitztaku, that they will come and give their testimony, and the Yidden will be made righteous, v'yishmu v'yomu emes, right, and they will say truth. Amr l'fanav Rebbeinu Shalom t'na lanu meirosh v'nasena. They say, you know what, how about this? Rebbeinu Shalom, can't you just give us a second chance? You know what the Rebbeinu Shalom says to them? Amr lo'en HaKadosh Baruch Hu shaitim sheba'olam, fools, Mishetorach be'erev Shabbos yoichal b'Shabbos. Misheloi torach be'erev Shabbos mehechon yoichal b'Shabbos. That somebody who worked hard and toiled on Erev Shabbos, it's Taka Erev Shabbos. I did a lot of toiling today, but Taka not for Shabbos really. My toiling today was, it's my mother's birthday coming up. So well, it's Taka, maybe her birthday today, and the Hebrew birthday's today. So Taka, we're making her a party. So I was toiling for that. So I was Torech be'erev Shabbos. Hopefully I'll be Yochel of Shabbos. So somebody who toils on Erev Shabbos will then be able to eat on Shabbos. If the person does not toil on Erev Shabbos, how is he going to have any food to eat on Shabbos? So the nimshal is, you blew it. You were now in La'asid level. It's too late. You had to prepare before now. The point was that you had to prepare before La'asid level, but you didn't. Ella, Afal Pikein. But the Rabban Shalom says, but, because I'm a nice guy, listen. Mitzvah kala yejli v'sukkah shma. There's an easy mitzvah. This mitzvah is called sukkah. Look it up. L'chu v'asu oisa. Go and do it. And then we'll see how you did it. Wait, but how? What? How could we say that the Rabban Shalom gave them a second chance? What does the pasuk mean? Right there, that I command you today. Hayom la'asosim v'lo l'machar la'asosim. You have to do them today, not tomorrow. La'asad lava is already tomorrow. That's not the time to do them. You have to do them today, the day before. Hayom la'asosim v'lo l'til schar. Today is when you do them, but you receive your reward today. You receive your reward in the future. El she'ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba b'trunya in briyosav. But the fact of the matter is, the Rabban Shalom doesn't want to come, I don't know how to define trunya, but like negatively with his creations. Keilu, look, if they want a second chance, he'll give them a second chance. He's not trying to mess with anybody. If they're asking for a second chance, he'll give it to them. V'amai kar le mitzvah kala. And why? I don't know if I explained that as good as I could have, but he doesn't want to like mess over the creations, Keilu. If they're coming b'tzinut, so he wants them to succeed. So my la mitzvah kala. Why do they call sukkah a mitzvah kala? Mishum delays bei chesrin kiss. Okay, because it's not expensive. Interesting. Miyad kol echod ve'echod oilech ve'oiseh sukkah b'eshgago. Okay, so everybody went and said, okay, fine, we're going to go do sukkah. And they went and they made a hut on the top of their roofs. VaKadosh Baruch Hu magdir aleim chama b'tkufas tammuz. Then the Rabban Shalom mamish meant he made it a hot day, mamish a hot day, like in the middle of August, in the upper hemisphere. V'chol echad ve'echad mevayit b'sukkosav yotze. And everybody kicked their sukkah and they said, and they huffed and puffed, and they left. Remember, mevayit b'sukkot. They didn't just say, you know what, this is uncomfortable. They kicked it. They said, to heck with this. Shenemar, nenaskes mososemo v'nashlicha mimenu avosemo. We're going to disconnect stuff and throw away ropes and get out of there. I don't understand. We just said, mamish, a second ago, that the reason why the Rabban Shalom says, okay, try doing sukkah was because he wants them to succeed. He doesn't want to mess them up. And then they make the sukkah, and he mamish makes it like the hottest possible day. Well, what is this? I thought we were saying the Rabban Shalom was trying to be understanding towards them and helpful to them. Well, mishum disazin nami zimnin dimashlu tukuvas tamos ad chogo. But the Rabban Shalom wasn't doing anything blatantly unfair. The whole point was this was supposed to be some kind of a test, right? They said we want a second chance. They said, okay, build a sukkah. And he built a sukkah and he kind of gave the most sort of extreme conditions for sukkah, sure, but that was, he didn't have to experience that sometimes as well. And he wanted to see, like, how are they going to do in sort of the most extreme of the scenarios. That's what makes it a solid indicator. But but they're potter from sukkah. And mitzvah is potter ben a sukkah. If it was so hot, so the Yidden wouldn't have to sit in the sukkah either. Yes, but nihida potter ba'ute mevaite. Yeah, sure. Mitzvah is potter from sukkah, but they didn't just say, you know what? This is uncomfortable, I'm going to go back inside. They kicked the sukkah. They said, to heck with this. That was the problem. But don't kick the sukkah on the way out. Then immediately the Rabbanu Shalom sits and he laughs on them. The one sitting in heavens laughs. Says Rabbi Yitzchak that that's the only day where there's laughter for the Rabbanu Shalom. There are those who teach that teaching of Rabbi Yitzchak on the following brisa, right? The thing about the Rabbanu Shalom only laughing on that one day. Desanya, Ahod Desanya, Reb Yosi Yomi says Reb Yosi la'asud lavoi. But in Ovdei Kechavim is Gairin. That in the future the Ovdei Kechavim are going to come and convert to Judaism. Will we accept them as proselytes at that time? But we learned in a brisa that we will not be accepting proselytes during the days of the Messiah. And similarly, they didn't accept proselytes during the times of King David or King Solomon. Well, they became like make-believe gerim. They didn't properly convert, but they would, do the mitzvahs, keep Shabbos. They would do the motion, go through the motions, kinds of things. They would put tefillin on their heads, with tefillin and on their arms, tzitzis b'bigdeim, tzitzis on their garments, mezuzah b'pischeim, mezuzahs. But then they see that there's going to be the big war of Gog Umagig. Whew. Okay, interesting day for that one. And then when they see Gog and Magog coming, they say, why'd you come? And Gog and Magog, they say, for the Rabbanu Shalom and his anointed one. Shnemar Lama Rogshu. Rogshu or Rigshu? Rogshu, right? Lama Rogshu Goyim. And then it says Al Hashem Val Mashiach in that same pasuk. Wait 1 second. So then at that point, so at that point when they realize things are getting tricky, so then that's it for their mitzvahs and they get out of there. That they disconnect their ropes and things. And that is when the Rabbanu Shalom sits and laughs. That he sits in the heavens and laughs. And says Isaac that there is only laughter for the Rabbanu Shalom that day. Is that really the case? For Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Rav Yehuda says in the name of Rav, Shteim Esrei Shalos Havei says Rav Yehuda Amar Rav that the day is 12 hours. Shalosh Harishonis HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yoshev Osik Bateirah. That for the first 3 hours the Rabbanu Shalom sits and learns. Shnius Yoshev Vidon is called Olam Kulo. The second 3 hours, the Rabbanu Shalom is judging the world. And when he judges the world and he sees, the world needs to be destroyed, well, he gets up from the throne of judgment and goes onto the throne of mercy. Shlishius, on the third group of 3, the third 3 hours, Yoshev Vizonis Kol Olam Kuloi, he feeds the whole world Mikarne Reimim, from the Karne Reimim. What are those? I feel like some kind of deer type animal. That's my guess. Adbei Kinim, until a little tiny species called Bei Kinim. It doesn't mean the eggs of lice. It's some kind of species called Bei Kinim. Revios on the fourth 3 hours, Yoshev Mesachikim Levayoson, he sits and plays with the Leviathan. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, Levyoson Zeyotzarto l'sachek boy, that the Leviathan was created to play with. So Rabbi Yitzchak is saying that that's the only time, kilu with the Umas Ha'olam, that's the only time that the Rabbanu Shalom laughs, but apparently every single day he laughs with the Leviathan. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Imbri Yosef Mesachik, sure. Every day with his creations he laughs, sure. Ve'al Bri Yosef in Mesachik Elo Oisoi Ayom Bavad, but laughing at his creations, that was the only time on that day. Omer of Acha, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Miyom Shecharev Beis Hamikdash Ein Tzchoik LaKodesh Baruch Hu. Says Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak that from the day that the Holy Temple was destroyed, there is no laughter for the Rabbanu Shalom. Manalan Deleka Tzchoik. How do we know that there is no laughter for the Rabbanu Shalom? If you can say because the Pasuk says Vayikosh Amalekim Tzvok is by Yemahu Levchilu Misped V'Lekarch V'Gemer. If you can say because the Rabbanu Shalom called on that day for crying and mourning, but V'Dilmahu Yomo V'Sula, but maybe the crying and mourning was only on that day, and that's it. El Dichsiv, rather because the Pasuk says Yemeshkochich Yerushalayim Tishkach Yemini Tidbak L'Shoini L'Chiki Imloz Kireichi. Well, because the Pasuk says, if I forget you, Jerusalem, forget my right hand, etc. But Dilma Shichachu Deleka Aval Schoik Miyaika. Okay, maybe he doesn't forget the destruction, or he doesn't forget Jerusalem, but he might still play and have fun. So Ella Meha. From this Pasuk, Echshesi Me'olam Achrish Sasapok V'Gomer. Oh, I don't know, that's a hard Pasuk. I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna be all sad and stuff, I guess. Okay, so there you see that the Rabbanu Shalom doesn't laugh from the time of the destruction of the Holy Temple. Baravios, my Ovid. So nowadays, that the Rabbanu Shalom doesn't have fun after the destruction of the temple. So what does he do during the fourth 3 hours of the day? Yoshev Malamid Tinoikis Shal Beis Rabban Teire. He's a Malamid. He teaches young pupils the holy Torah Shnemer as Miyoredeya. Who do you teach knowledge? Ves Miyovan Shmua, and who will you understand stuff? Gmule Mechalav, weaned of milk. Atike Mishadayim, and those who have been separated from the breast, the young pupils. That who does the Rabbanu Shalom teach? It's these young pupils. And who would teach these young pupils before the destruction of the Holy Temple, when the Rabbanu Shalom was playing with the Leviathan? Maybe Mitatron was the Malamed. Or you could say that the Rabbanu Shalom did both, but now he only teaches these young pupils. What does the Rabbanu Shalom do at night? But that's what he does during the 12 hours of the day. What about at night? One option is he does the same thing. He does the same thing at night as he does during the day. Alternatively, he rides on his sports kruv. Shelo v'shot b'shmona eser elef olamas, and he goes on joy rides in his 18,000 worlds. Shneimar, as the Apostle says, Rechev Elokim ribosayim, the riding of God is 20,000. Alfei shinon, 2,000 shinon. Atuke shinon ela she'enon. So 20,000, but 2,000 that aren't, i.e. 18,000. Alternatively, Yoshev v'shamei ashira mipi chayis. He sits and he listens to beautiful singing from the chayis, from the chayis, v'fanim v'chayis hakodesh, from the chayis hakodesh. Shneimar yoimam yitzava Hashem chazdoi uvalayla shira imi. The Rabbanu Shalom is commanding his kindness during the day, and at night his song is with me. Amar Levi kol apoisek b'divrei Torah v'isek b'divrei sicha Says Reb Levi, somebody who stops learning the Holy Torah and just starts schmoozing. We feed him like hot glowing coals or something. Shinemar, as the Apostle says, Akoitvim maluach alei. I guess people who like speak while they're supposed to be learning. V'shorish resomim lachmim. We feed them like hot coals. Amar Rish Lakish says, Rish Lakish goes to Ozek b'Torah b'Laylo. Anybody who studies the Holy Torah at night, HaKadosh Baruch Hu moshech olav chut shel chesed b'yayim. The Rebbeinu Shalom draws upon him a thread of kindness during the day. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, Yoimam yitzava shem chazde v'Laylo shiroi imi. That during the day God commands is kindness. Uvalayla shiroi imi matam yom yitzava shem chazde mishum de v'Layla shiroi imi. How come the Rebbeinu Shalom commands his kindness during the day? Is because the person was studying Torah at night. Anybody studies the Holy Torah like we do at Babylon Talmud in this world that is like the night. The Rebbeinu Shalom draws upon him a thread of kindness in the world to come, which is like the day. And here we will stop. Very interesting daf over here. And Masechta AvodahZarah, continuing with this dialogue between the Rebbeinu Shalom and the Ovdei Kochavim. Peace out.